Sade Brown. I'm 29 years old and I am a recovering covert narcissist. For you guys that don't know what a narcissist is pretty much somebody who has an extreme sense of entitlement. They have the inability to handle criticism and, for lack of a better word, somebody who's just extremely immature, a compulsive liar, highly manipulative. Either way, that was me. I say was specifically because now that I am willing to admit my behaviors, I want to change. So before I actually get into the behaviors and stuff that I displayed, I actually first like to tell you guys how I actually became a narcissist and why. First things first, I want to tell you guys about my family dynamic. I grew up with a extremely overbearing mom who was a covert narcissist herself. Just like myself, she was an expert at, making herself, the victim in everyone else's eyes, while also in the background kind of manipulating and causing strife, in our home environment. She was the type of woman that didn't take no for an answer. And if I did say no, she would be cool with it at the time, but later on there would be repercussions and stuff like that. As I got older, she became sickly, and she actually passed away when I was 21. Besides my mom, I also grew up in a household with my stepfather, who was a very, very overt narcissist. So I was raised by two narcissists. He was extremely in your face, mean, for lack of a better word, loud, volatile, and very openly selfish. Unlike my mom, she was very good at masking her behavior. Him, on the other hand, he really just didn't care. He was who he was. As far as my birth father, he was pretty much absent in my life as a child. I mean, he was there. We lived in the same city, but we really didn't spend much time together. My mom told me that he was very physically abusive towards her. They actually divorced when I was 8. However, my mother had been in a relationship with my stepfather since I was 4. So her and my father had separated, but they, were still married, and they both were, with different people. So at the age of 8, sorry, I'm at the park. At the age of 8, she actually married my stepfather. And I just distinctively remember it being the worst day of my life. In addition to my home life, I was bullied at school because of my size. I had really bad acne. I still have scars left over from my acne. And so because of that, I easily found that if I lied, about certain things, then people would not pick on me. They would, talk to me and make conversations with me. And so one of the first big lies I would tell was about my home life. I would make it seem better than it was. I would tell people that, me and my father had this great relationship, even though I hadn't seen the man for months. Or, I talk about how great my mom was, even though, that morning before school, she bullied me until I cried, And so I hid behind, I guess, what you would call a false self. And I remember starting to lie and form my false self when I was in elementary school. And by the time I got to middle school, my mom and my stepfather actually had a child of their own. So that kind of pushed me further into isolation, because I saw my stepfather go from being this completely mean person to me to being just a complete model parent to my sister. And that's something that hurt me. So I guess if I could put it in terms that I kind of see online about narcissists and stuff like that, I guess I was sort of the scapegoat and she was sort of the golden child. I couldn't do anything right. However, she did everything right. And to be honest, I hated her. Even as an adult, I've had issues, and I want to tell you guys in later videos how I actually ended up getting custody of my sister at the age of 23, and how that was probably not the best decision I could have made, being in the mental space I was in. Yeah, so I just kind of learned as a kid that lying, especially compulsive lying, made people like me, or at least they pretended, that they did. And yeah, so that's kind of how I was formed into, being this liar, and being somebody who thought that they were better than everybody else. And honestly, for me, the root of all of it was just the simple fact that, and even now I'm still struggling with just loving who I am and being okay with the cards that I was dealt. And that's kind of one of the hardest things to do. Oh my God. But that's kind of one of the hardest things to do, to really accept yourself for who you are, and I'm still struggling with it, but I'm glad that, I was able to recognize my behaviors, and now I'm pretty much forced to change, because I don't want to be this type of person anymore. I want to go to bed at night and feel happy about who I am, and not ashamed of the fact that I have to lie and manipulate to get attention in order to get people to like me, because as a kid I never felt like anybody liked me, especially my parents. So yeah, that's the breakdown. I look forward to telling you guys a little bit more about some of the tactics I use as a narcissist. I see a lot of videos on YouTube saying that narcissists are cold and calculating, and they plan and all these different things. For me, it was not true. It actually was pretty effortless for me. I literally could lie on a whim. I didn't think about it. I just lied. Did I feel bad for lying? For a split second, yes. But then I would just convince myself that, hey, it's just something I had to do. But once again, my name is Sade Brown. I'm a recovering covert, and I look forward to telling you guys more about who I am, because this is literally the first time I've ever, been completely raw and open and honest about who I am, and through this recovery, I'm kind of realizing that I really don't know who I am. I've kind of lied so much and made up this version of myself that's just completely not true. I don't even know what my style is, because I've copied off other people's styles for so long. I don't even, doing this video, I had to re-record, because I recorded like 10 seconds and I listened to my voice as I was speaking. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not even you. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know who I am. So I'm starting this YouTube channel to hopefully help other narcissists recover, and at the same time help myself recover and discover who I actually am, because I don't know.